Hello underachievers! So, quickly before we get into the video, I just gotta let you guys know, I have a brand new song out now with Bears and Trees. It's called No Point Pretending. It's really fun, we have a music video, here's a little look at it. It would help out a lot if you would add it to your playlists and stream it and share it with your nan and all that kind of stuff. I'm also going on tour with Bears and Trees and Action Adventure. We're gonna be playing the song that I just talked about, but it's only gonna be on this tour. And here are all the dates. It's an American tour. There's a lot of dates. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Tickets are cheap. We got VIP. Let's party. So, pronouns. Everybody has them. Not everybody knows what they are, or how they work, or why they have them, and some people are kind of angry about it for some reason. Never seen this much hate for adjectives. Don't know what's going on. Just for context, I am trans, I was born a girl, I'm now a guy, my pronouns are he, him, have been for a very long time. But I've actually gone through all of the most common pronouns. So I started out as she, her, you know, they obviously didn't feel that great, and then I went on to they, them, because I learned what trans people were. And I was kind of terrified of the idea that maybe I was just a guy and that, you know, I would actually be way more comfortable if I was a guy. But I wasn't ready for that, and for me at least, they, them was like, okay, I will use these pronouns, I'm not a girl. I'm not a girl. Obviously, this is just my experience with these pronouns. Like, there are plenty of people that use they, them, and they are so right for them, just not for me. And yeah, he, him, I mean, I came out as trans publicly to everybody in 2017. But maybe like 2015 is when I was like, these pronouns, the he, him, those are the ones. When I first realized I was trans, the conversation surrounding pronouns was pretty much non-existent. I feel like that's a kind of safe thing to say. And when I was actually using they, them pronouns, I personally, just because of where we were at in society, I felt silly using those pronouns because I was like, oh, well, no one's actually gonna use these pronouns for me. This is just a thing that, like, people on the internet will call me, and I'm happy that they do, but I didn't think that it would be like a real world thing, if you get me. I think it's just difficult to navigate. There are so many little things that are just like, oh, okay. Those are just a few thoughts. Let's get into the video. We're gonna be watching TikToks of people being asked their pronouns by strangers and just seeing what their reaction is.
What are your pronouns?
Oh, they, them.
Why?
Because gender is stupid.
I love that. I love that. Why are your pronouns they, them? Because gender is stupid. Hell yeah. That's a way more favorable answer than being like, so this is my identity and here is why.
What are your pronouns?
She, they.
Why is that?
Because even though, like, I have no crazy gender dysphoria, I don't, like, identify as, like, a female, if that makes sense. But, like, I don't feel like a female, so that's why I have they as well as she.
Thank you so much.
Fair enough. Here's a question that I have. So I've only ever gone by, like, the same pronouns. I've only ever gone, like, she, her, they, them, he, him. I've never been like he, they, she, they, that kind of thing. For people in the comments that use, like, more than one pronoun, do you like it when people mid-sentence will change the pronoun for you? Like, say, for example, you use she, they pronouns, and I'm like, oh, she went to the shop where they got some milk. I feel like most people that use they, them pronouns don't drink dairy. But, do you like that when people change the pronoun mid-sentence? I personally, like, I'm all for making people comfortable in language, so if that's what people like, I will do that. So, next TikTok, I have seen this guy ask these questions a lot. So, he's dressed as a clown. A gay clown. So
Talk, Valentina.
Ally.
What's your pronouns?
I don't do pronouns.
So you identify by nothing but your name?
Yep.
So if I said he, that would be incorrect?
That would be correct.
Jesus Christ. I'm not gonna sit here and assume this guy's motivation for just not doing pronouns, but, like, what is it with the older generation just rejecting anything new that they've never heard of? I feel like if I didn't understand something, I would try and work to understand it before I rejected it. Because, like, this is a thing that so many people say. They're like, I don't do pronouns. I don't have pronouns. I'm a man. And, like, men have pronouns. Like, what do you mean?
So you do have pronouns?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if somebody's referring to where I, you know, if somebody's referring...
You've been bamboozled.
If someone's referring... I don't know, it's weird. Like, I try to be very understanding. I mean, I grew up around a lot of conservatives, and I grew up around a lot of people that know absolutely nothing about people that aren't like them. And I understand that if you don't know something, or you don't understand something, you just don't know it. You just don't understand it. That doesn't make you a bad person. But it's just so weird to me that people are so averse to the question, what are your pronouns? Like, my guy, I'm just asking how I should refer to you. So I haven't actually watched these TikToks before I'm reacting to them, but I just love that in a lot of these TikToks, the people asking people what their pronouns are, they always choose the people that look queer. Like, this person is saying way too hard to not have something interesting to say about pronouns.
What's your name and what are your pronouns?
My name's Bug, and my pronouns are they, them.
Yes! Oh, I love that. 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 I love when non-binary people have names like Bug, or Leaf, or Twig, or Fern. I love it. Oh, it's just so good. There's just something so good about it. I need to stop rubbing my eyes so that I can't see anymore. Like, Bug? Are you serious? Like, I know you listen to Cavetown. If your name is Bug, you listen to Cavetown. When I was younger and first realizing I was trans, I was super hardcore, like, Transmed, because my entire trans experience was entirely determined by suffering. Like, I knew I was trans because of the level of dysphoria I had. I mean, it was hard, you know, trying to accept myself, but trying to figure out what was going on wasn't very difficult. Like, I grew up, and before I had memories, my brother told me that I told him I wanted to be a boy. I would cry if I had to go into the girls section of H&M at the age of 4 years old. I would make fake packers, put them in my pants. I would go to the playground, tell people my name was Alex and I was a boy. So for me, that kind of thing was super obvious. And you know, I was very dysphoric, like ridiculously so, and very depressed, and I assumed that if you're trans, that's the only experience you can have. So when I was younger, I outright just rejected anything trans related that I didn't personally agree with. The idea of a non-binary person calling themselves Bug when I was younger it would make me seethe. I would be so angry. And maybe there will be a few people watching this video that are in that phase right now, and I just want to let you know, look, I get it. Everything sucks right now, but just because your life sucks doesn't mean you have to make other people's lives miserable. But anyway, I would just get so angry if I saw anybody trans doing anything that I wouldn't personally do. If I was 15 right now and I saw a TikTok of a non-binary person saying their name was Bug, but I'm over that now, and I love it. I absolutely love it when non-binary people are just like, yeah, f you. Gender's stupid. My name's Bug. I'm wearing a twig today. I love it. I love it so much.
Why is it important to ask someone the pronouns?
You can't assume someone's pronouns from the way they look.
It's just a matter of respect. Like, it's how you refer to someone. It's similar to their name, and you wouldn't just guess someone's name.
Yes, 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 yes. I've never actually heard somebody say that before, but absolutely. Like, it doesn't have to be this massive deal. Like, you would ask somebody their name if you didn't know their name. And I'm absolutely not saying that you should ask every single person what their pronouns are. That would kind of be a bit difficult and kind of ridiculous. But if you're not sure, just ask. I like that, Bug. I don't know where you are, Bug. You're cool.
What are your pronouns?
He, him.
Nice. Why?
Basically convenience as much as anything else, and consensus.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what it is. I have such a soft spot for, like, middle-aged men who are just sweet. I think I'm honestly way too easy to impress. And, you know, I'm not mad about that. If someone is nice to me, I'll be happy the rest of the day. And if I see a sweet middle-aged man just, you know, not being the worst person ever, it makes me happy. I don't know. He's just not making a big deal out of it. That makes me happy. Anyway, moving on.
What are your pronouns?
Bro, I'm a he. What do you mean, fam?
I know.
I'm a he. Bro, I'm a he.
Oh.
You've said that plenty of times, my guy. This is another thing. I get it. I get being personally offended, being asked what your pronouns are. I get the impression that this guy isn't trans, so I'll explain my experience of why I would get upset back in the day if somebody asked me that. So, back in the day if somebody asked me what my pronouns were, I would maybe have this reaction, because I'm like, I have tried so hard to show to you without saying anything that I'm a guy. Like, I have done everything that I can. I have cut my hair short. I'm wearing men's clothes. I've flattened my chest. I'm trying to make my voice deeper. And if somebody at that point in my life, before I started testosterone, before I came out, you know, before I got top surgery, before I was comfortable with myself, I'd be like this. I'd be upset, because I'm like, look how much effort I'm putting in. And you're still questioning it. And I would feel that people would only ask me my pronouns because they're unsure. And if they're unsure, it made me feel like I didn't pass. And if I felt like they thought I didn't pass, that made me think that I felt like a girl and that I looked like a girl. And that was just a whole big gender dysphoria explosion. That I understand. And if any of you are in that position, I'm really sorry. It's not nice. It's a general, just like, uncomfortable way of living. It won't always be like that. I pinky promise. I thought it would always be like that. I spent years thinking that it would only be that. But this guy, unless he's trans, I don't understand this. Maybe he thinks it's like an insult to his masculinity. Maybe he's insecure of his masculinity and his manhood.
Fam, I have a beard, I have a nice smile, I'm a pretty boy. What do you think?
3 things that make you a he. Having a beard, having a nice smile, and being a pretty boy. I think I have 1.5. By the way, I have Invisalign in currently. If you're looking at my face and looking at my mouth, and I probably shouldn't make you aware of this, I will have a nice smile in several months, and maybe then I can claim he, him pronouns. This poor guy just asking the question. God. Oh my god, that's embarrassing.
What are your pronouns?
They, them.
Why?
Because I'm non-binary.
What are your pronouns?
Any.
Why?
Just whatever people feel comfortable with, you know?
I find that interesting, because like, as I said earlier, I've only ever gone by like singular pronouns. I think it's kind of cool that there are people out there that are just like, yeah, I don't care. Gender's stupid. Call me whatever you want, I don't care. And I know this isn't a question that's actually possible to answer. I would just love to know what the general experience of that is. Obviously, one person that will use any pronouns compared to another person that will use any pronouns could have a completely different experience. I just feel like that would be kind of confusing, because if people are using any pronouns, I don't know, I feel like in conversation, if people are saying he, I'll pick up on that and be like, oh, are they talking about me? But is it the situation where just like anybody uses any pronoun and you're like, oh, I gotta stay alert? That seems like a lot of effort.
What are your pronouns?
He, him.
Why?
That's just how I identify.
I love your eyes. Are they real?
No, they're contact.
Oh, okay.
I love your eyes. Are they real? Can I just say, there's some serious looks in these videos. I mean, Bug obviously looks sick. The person at the beginning, I love the vest. I love the hair. And the guy at the end, like his shoes, his platform shoes, the green, the checkerboard bag, the excessive jewelry, which I love, by the way. So sick.
What are your pronouns?
Dog/cat.
Say what?
Dog/cat.
Okay.
So, there's this like whole idea that trans people are sensitive and they can't take a joke. I just feel like the jokes aren't that funny. I feel like maybe the first time the joke was funny, and bear in mind, when I was 14, 15, I was in the closet. I blocked everybody from my school, and I had an Instagram account where some of you guys followed me. I didn't want to put my pronouns on my profile because I didn't want to out myself, and I did at one point put /self in my bio. Obviously those words are bleeped. I'm saying the C word. Like, I was the guy that made that joke. Looking back, pretty cringe. Way more cringe than trans people. Way more cringe.
I identify myself as a redneck, but if it was there's her and there's he, I'm a he or her. I'm one of those.
Redneck said they them pronouns.
You have like a penis?
I think so.
Okay, then you're a her.
Oh, okay.
If you have a peen, you're a her. So, new identity just dropped. Redneck peen haver.
I don't identify as shit. Fuck that shit. Honestly, like, fuck that shit. What the fuck does that even mean, bro? Come on.
We found a void gender! Sorry, I mean a gender void, not void gender. Gender void is a gender identity in which one fills nothing where a gender should be. So congratulations on your newfound identity. You don't have to thank me for giving you the language to describe how you feel. Again though, why are you so upset? Why are you so angry? I really dislike, you know what, like my least favorite thing is people believing things that are just wrong. I'm a big factor, okay? I love facts. I love nothing more than being right and the fact that I'm right pissing people off. But like, it's always been the opinion that, again, trans people are sensitive, we're angry, we're reactive, we can't deal with people. And there's always those videos going around like, trans boy is harassed in a classroom and look at him being angry and throwing a chair because he's been harassed for years. Or like, oh no, trans woman goes into GameStop and the guy behind the desk at GameStop keeps calling her a guy, even though she's told him that she's not. Society loves to paint trans people as like these just angry beings. But when you really look into it, like the goal of somebody that is trans is really just to find comfort within themselves and to find a way for them to, you know, exist in a way that doesn't make them feel dreadful and horrible. And the reaction to that is like people that don't understand us being so angry. We should just start a movement against adjectives because the pronoun police, it's gone too far.
He, him.
He, him. Cool. Thank you.
Look, I'm 23. I know a lot of you are younger than that. I know a lot of you are older than that. I know a lot of you are around my age. When I see young kids being like so nonchalant about LGBT related stuff, it just makes me really happy. Because like, although I know transphobia right now, it's getting worse. But I know that there's also like, this is the first generation of kids that are growing up being told that like, hey, it's okay if you're trans. Hey, pronouns are a thing. Here's a way that you can make trans people more comfortable. And they've just absorbed that, and that's just normal to them. I love seeing that. Because every other generation has to unlearn all the stuff that they've been taught. Whereas we just have these new people in the world that are just like, yeah, I mean, yeah, being gay is cool. Sure. Not cool. You know what I mean. Being gay is fine. There's nothing wrong with being gay. Trans people exist, and that isn't a bad thing. It's just nice. This kid just doesn't give a shit, obviously.
Him. Yeah, I'm kind of two religions, so...
You have two religions?
No, I believe two genders.
Believing in two genders is a religion. I'm not gonna make fun of a kid, but it's always interesting to me when I see videos of religious people being questioned on their beliefs, or maybe just bringing up their beliefs when they weren't asked, because this guy was not asked about his religion. But it's so interesting to see how uncomfortable they are, because they know that the things they're saying are unpopular. Like, you just ask what your pronouns are. Why did you have to say that you believe in two genders?
What's your pronouns?
My pronouns are that. Feel me?
And that's the tea, boy.
Spill the tea, bitch.
Sip it. Spill it. Kill it. Michael Jackson. Thrill it.
Do you know what's something that is weird to me? It's so weird to me now that, like, queer language is being used by supposedly heterosexual people who don't claim themselves to be part of the queer community and who also don't really understand the queer community. Like that white guy saying spill the tea. By the way, I know that kind of language originates from AAVE. That's not what I'm saying. It's just strange. It's just strange.
What are your pronouns?
My pronouns are they, them. I've actually got them tattooed on my neck. Why? Show the world. Be visual, be queer, activism.
Be visual, be queer, activism. That means absolutely nothing, but I good job. Hell yeah to anybody that, like, feels comfortable enough to, like, tattoo their pronouns across their neck. That terrifies me. Like, imagine one day you're just like, you know what? Not feeling they, them anymore. That's terrifying. Cool though, I love when people are just themselves. That's very permanent. That scares me a little bit.
What are your pronouns?
She, her. I don't have any.
You don't have any?
I lost my pronouns.
I'm a girl.
Why?
Because I have boobs.
Okay. Look, not everybody is gonna know the most about everything. I just love, why are you she, her? Why are you a girl? Because I have boobs. Because I have boobs. So very, you know, I mean, that is the way. I mean, that, to be fair, like, that is the way that people are raised. Like, they are raised, like, girl, boob, vagina, boy, no boob, balls. Also, another thing, just because something has a simple explanation does not mean it's the correct explanation. Like, we were taught in school that there were two genders, girl and boy, male and female, whatever, because school did not teach us the difference between gender and sex. But school also taught us ridiculously simplified versions of, like, physics and biology and, like, maths so that we can understand it. And then, you know, when you go to university level, you learn that, like, oh, actually, this thing that you were taught for several years of your life isn't necessarily the full truth. I just think that's interesting. School also taught us that Pluto was a planet, and then they changed their minds. So let's just move on with that.
What are your pronouns?
My pronouns are they, them.
I love your outfit! This is so cool! Like, is it fashion? Is it what most people will be like, oh, fashion? No. It slays so f***ing hard, though.
What are your pronouns?
They, them.
Yes! Oh my god, sorry. Oh my god! Bruh, this is so... I love this. Absolutely, your pronouns are they, them. I love the hair. Oh my, the vest, so sick. And, oh god, I need to know what that flag is. I'm so sorry, I don't know my flag. They're wearing a non-binary belt. Now, me personally, I have absolutely no interest in wearing gay stuff, like pride flags. I have no interest in that. And it's not because I'm not comfortable with being trans. I just like, that's just not how I choose to present myself. And again, back in the day, I would look at somebody wearing pride flags and be like, you're a loser. You're making your entire identity the fact that you're not straight and cis. And I would say to myself back then, why do you care? Like, who cares? I think it's so cool. It takes so much guts to go out and wear pride merch, to wear your flag. You know it's gonna upset people, even though there's nothing wrong with it. It's just nice. It's just nice that, like, people are able to do that.
What are your pronouns?
Pronoun. I forgot what that mean, bro. I'm from the hood, bro.
I love that, just the genuine confusion.
Yeah, what are your pronouns?
Huh and what? Huh, hey.
I've never heard that one. I love her's t-shirt. Thick boy fitness.
What are your pronouns?
Him, the man, the boss, that dude.
I personally like referring to myself as some guy. Just some guy.
What are your pronouns?
She, her.
Why?
I don't know, I identify as a woman.
I love that, like, obviously, there are so many people that have never had to question their identity, never had to think more than 2 seconds about it. I guess that would be a very difficult question to ask. Like, if I was cis and straight and I knew nothing about the LGBT community, other than the fact that, like, obviously, there's a lot of sensitivities, I would be terrified by that question. What are your pronouns? Oh, these are my pronouns. Why? Just because, I guess?
What are your pronouns?
She, her.
Why?
Because I want them to be she, her.
He, him.
Why?
Low-key, I thought about going they, them because I'm not a fan of patriarchy, but it didn't really work out, so he, him.
So, okay, I'm not gonna lie. That that confuses me. I've seen a lot of, I don't know if it's like a lot of people. I've seen a few people be like, yeah, I'm politically trans. Like, I use these pronouns to make a political statement, which, like, I'm not gonna tell people what to do with their identity. Just for me, it's confusing, because I feel like pronouns are reflective of identity and, like, inner feelings, and they help the world, you know, describe you in a way that makes you feel comfortable. I don't understand them being the other way round, like, being like, oh, I think this about the world, therefore this is my identity, rather than this is my identity and this is how I show them to the world. Because, like, I'm not a fan of patriarchy. I'm still a guy. I still use he, him. But maybe the person is just not explaining it well.
What are your pronouns?
Nor/mal.
Fair enough.
Boring! Very boring.
What are your pronouns?
You're not for real, are you? I'm a female. Yeah, a she.
Female. She, her?
Yeah, but I don't bother with all that on emails. Wrong generation, you see.
Right, so we've had an offended he, him, and we've had an offended she, her, but for different reasons. The he, him was offended because he had a beard. The she, her was offended because she's a female who doesn't use her pronouns on emails. Fine. Old people have pronouns too. Like, it's fine that you're old. You just don't pretend you don't have pronouns. Anyway, that was the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. What are your pronouns? Let me know down there. Have a good day or don't. See you later, losers. Goodbye. And by bye, I mean buy tickets to my tour! I almost punched this with my ring. Like, what do you mean? But